How are you all? Hope you all are doing good. So today's class we are going to do a revision class for our semester 1 because very soon your first semester exams are going to start, most probably by this month end 27. So as first sem is completed long back and we have started our second sem also, so there was some gap for you. That's why we are revising our first semester paper. So before revising the paper, since this year we are going to have a change in the question paper model. The same question paper model will be there, but with the more choices. So first we'll discuss the question paper pattern for this year, and this question paper pattern is only for this semester only. So don't think that the same question paper pattern will be there for throughout all years. So as due to the pandemic, OU has decided this model. So first we'll see the question paper model. So we all know that the question paper and our theory exam is of 80 marks. So total how many marks we have? Total 80 marks. So before also the paper was for 80 marks and now also the paper is for 80 marks itself. So in 80 marks you will be having two sections, section 1 and section 2. So coming to the first section A. So this section A consists of the short answer questions. So in the previous question paper model which we have discussed earlier related to your first year or any year. So in first section A you will be having overall 12 questions. So you will be having 1 to 12 questions. So total how many questions will be there in section A? So in section A total 12 questions will be there that you have to attempt. So among these 12 questions in our before pattern we have to attempt 8. But here due to the COVID the question paper even the time has been reduced. Before the time was for 3 hours but now the time is for 2 hours. So that is why the number of questions attempting will be reduced. So here out of 12 questions you have to attempt any 5. Attempt any 5. So out of 12 questions you are going to attempt any 5 questions. So each question carries 4 marks. So 5. So you are going to attempt 5 questions. 5 into each question carries 4 marks. So 5 fours are 20 marks. So for section A you are going to get 20 marks for your short answers. So this is section A. So remember time. What is the time duration? Only 2 hours. Your time duration is only 2 hours. The exam will be only for 2 hours. Remember that you have to finish your exam within 2 hours. It is not a 3 hours paper. Since the number of questions attempting is reduced in each section. So this is about section A. So 1 to 12 questions. So 12 questions will be given. Out of 12 questions you will be attempting any 5. So each question carries 4 marks. So 5 fours are 20 marks is for your section A. Next coming to section B. So in section B you will be having long answer questions. So previously in section B we used to have 4 long questions with an internal choice. That is here before we used to have 13. In 13 you are going to have A or B. Of 14 you will be having A or B. 15 A or B. 16 A or B. So there was a pattern like this. You will be getting 4 questions with an internal choice. This is from unit 1, this is from unit 2, this is from unit 3, this is from unit 4. So from all 4 units, you have to attempt one answer. So one long answer compulsory from each and every unit you have to attempt. But now the pattern is changed. It is a student friendly question paper. So here with internal choice together we have 8 questions, right? So now the internal choice will not be given. Together 8 questions will be given as it is. That is 13, 14, 15, 16 question, 17, 18, 19, 20. So together all 8 questions will be given. So here how many questions are given total? Total 8 questions. So before you used to attempt, you have to attempt 4 long answers. But here you have to attempt only 3 long answers. Attempt any 3. So how many long answers we are going to write in this pattern? Only 3 long answers. So each answer carries 20 marks. So each answer, that is 3 into 20 is equals to 60. So before our long answer was only for 12 marks. But now the long answer is for 20 marks. So make sure whatever the answers you write, it weights your marks. So according to the weightage of the marks, you elaborate your answers and justify those marks. So here, linely all these 8 questions will be given. So from these 8 questions, you may attempt any 3. So here, these 2, most probably, generally first 2 will be unit 1, next 2 will be unit 2, next 2 will be unit 3, next 2 will be unit 4. So even if you plan accordingly, you can attempt all the questions by making a perfect planning. So we have to attempt only 3 long answers. So 3 long answers means even if you perfectly read all 2 units, then you can attempt the long answers. But make sure you try to do it. But even if you read only 2 units perfectly, then also you can attempt 3 long answers. So make sure you plan accordingly. I have sent you the important questions also. So in that important questions, first pick any 1 unit. So complete that 1 unit. It may be any unit, first, second, third, fourth. So you completely go through that unit. So reading 2 long answers and skipping remaining 3-4 long answers, don't say that your unit is completed. So read the complete questions from covered in that unit, so that you can attempt 2 questions from each unit. And another unit, after completing the first unit, go for the next unit. So whatever units you feel easy, start with that. So this is our question paper pattern. So in section A, total 12 questions will be given. You have to attempt any 5. So each carries 4 marks, 5 4s are 20. And similarly, section B, there will be 8 long answers directly given without internal choice. Before there was internal choice, here there is no internal choice. You can pick any 3 questions and attempt your long answers. So each question carries 20 marks. So 3 into 20, 60. So from section A, you are going to get 20 marks. And from section B, we are going to get 60 marks. So overall together, 20 plus 60, it is 80 marks. So you can get 80 marks. You can score 80 marks very easily in this pattern. So don't neglect it. We don't get this pattern again and again. So it's a very good time. You can score very good marks here. So prepare well and start your revision. So after paper pattern, we will discuss the revision have total 4 units, right? So in those 4 units, second unit is not much lengthy. So first we'll start the revision for our second unit. So we will start with the Unit 2 revision. So why I am starting Unit 2 is, you have limited number of long answers in this and all the theorems are familiar theorems. You can do it easily and quickly. So it doesn't take much time. So that's why I am doing the revision for Unit 2. So what is our Unit 2? Unit 2 is probability. So our Unit 2 is probability. So in probability, first you make clear what is a probability. It is a chance of occurrence of the event. So under probability, we have different definitions. First go through those definitions. Like small definitions like random experiment. So random experiments means if the outcomes of the experiment are unpredictable, then it is called as a random experiment. Like tossing of a coin, we don't know what will be the outcome, we cannot predict. So that is called as a random experiment. Next we have different terminologies in the probability like sample space. Sample space means the total number of the set of all the outcomes of the random experiment is called sample space, which is denoted by S. Next, trial. So each and every trial, whatever the trial we make, the attempt of an experiment, that is called as a trial. Outcome means the result of an experiment. Similarly, different types of events, complementary events. Suppose happening of event is denoted with A. So the non-happening of an event is denoted by its complementary event, which is denoted as A complement. So if A is any event, A complement, which you can write as A bar or A complement like this. So these are complementary events. Impossible events. So the events which cannot happen are called impossible events. So the probability of an impossible event is 0. Like if you say the sun rises in the north. So is it an impossible event? No. So that's why the probability will be 0. Suppose if you say certain event. Certain event means that happens for sure or almost sure event we say. So therefore that the probability will be 1. So read all the definitions first. Next, for the probability you are having 3 definitions, that is classical or mathematical definition. Next is statistical or empirical definition, and the last axiomatic definitions. So read these three definitions. So first definition, mathematical definition. If you have any event, P of A is given by M by N, that is number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. This is mathematical. Next is statistical. You apply limit to it. So if you apply limit n tends to infinity for the mathematical definition, we get the statistical definition. That is, for the larger values of n, we apply this definition. Next, axiomatic definition. You will be having 3 axioms. That is, P of EI should be greater than or equals to 0. And summation of P of AI should be equals to 1. So we know always total probability will be equals to 1. So it lies between 0 to 1 only. Always remember the probability lies in between 0 to 1. The maximum probability is always 1. So if you add probability of all the events, all the outcomes, then you have to get 1. This is axiomatic definition, and one more axiom we have is third one. P of A1 union A2 equals to P of A1 plus P of A2. So whenever these events are disjoint events. Disjoint means there is no intersection between those events. Those events are called as the disjoint events. So the probability of A1 union A2 will be equals to P of A1 plus P of A2 for the disjoint events. So first read the definitions for these probability. First go with the terminology in the probability, then read all the three definitions of probability. Next, we have some long answers in these probabilities. We have 4 long answers which are very important. So that revision classes I will be sending simultaneously after this class. So we will discuss small topics what are left out in the probability. Like short all should be covered. So after definitions you go through the problems. So all the problems related to probability are very important. So first thing you have to remember about the problems is reading the question carefully. So what is given in the question, which probability we have to find, what are the conditions. So if you understand the question well, then only you can attempt that one and find out the probabilities. So read the questions and go through all the problems which I have given you in your notes. We have covered all variety of problems. So make sure you go through those problems. Next, we have some small theorems in the probability. So all small theorem like probability of a sample space equals to 1. So the total probability equals to 1. We have theorem for this to prove P of S equals to 1 and probability of an impossible event P of psi equals to 0. So probability of a null event or an impossible event is always 1. Probability of a complementary event, that is P of A complement equals to 1 minus P of A. So this is also, these theorems also we have. Next we have theorems on independence. Independence of events. So when do you say two events are independent? Suppose you have two events A, B. So whenever you have two events A, B, then these two events are said to be independent if the condition is P of A intersection B is equals to P of A into P of B. So this is the main condition for the independency. So based on these conditions, we have some theorems based on the independence of events, and these ones we have some theorems, that is if A and B are independent, show that. So we have some theorems like A complement and B complement are independent. So all these theorems are very easy, so don't miss, practice these theorems. And next we have A complement and B are independent. And one more, A and B complement are independent. So like this we have some theorems based on the independence of the events. So first go through the definition of the independence of events. Then after finishing independence of events, we have some conditions. So in independence of events also, there are different criteria. Like you have pairwise independent, so here we are having pairwise independent, and also the mutually independent events. So pairwise means, suppose if you have n number of events, so all the events are independent pairwise also. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4 events, then A1, A2, A1, A3, A1, A4, A2, A3, A2, A4. So all the pair combinations are also independent. Then that is called a pairwise independent. Mutually independent means all the start from the pair to the all the combinations must be independent. So first if you say pairwise independent, all pairs should be independent. Next you consider 3. Then 3 events should be independent. Next to 4, like that if you have n up to n, all the combinations must be independent. So this is about the independence of attributes. So based on the independence of attributes, we will be having the multiplication theorem. So go through this multiplication theorem, and this is one definition for multiplication theorem, and we have one more condition for the multiplication theorem, that is, suppose if you consider the conditional probability, that is P of A given B. So this is the conditional probability of A given B. So if the conditional probability is equals to the unconditional probability, that is P of A. So P of A means it is the unconditional probability, right? So if the conditional probability is equals to unconditional probability, or if you write P of B given A, this is exactly equals to P of B. So the conditional probability of B given A is equals to unconditional probability of B. This is called as then the events A and B are called as the independent events. So by using this criteria, we have one important theorem, that is multiplication theorem. So what is conditional probability? The important definition. So how do you denote the conditional probability, or what is a conditional event? We will see now. I'll just give a brief definition of it. So what is conditional probability? The probability of conditional events is given by conditional probability. But what is the conditional events? The events which happen on some condition. In the name itself we have condition. So what is that condition? So the second event happens, that is one event. Suppose if you have two events, then the one event happens after happening of the first event. So if one event has already occurred, then only the second event will occur. Suppose I consider example. Now we are writing the exam, and for that exam we get the result. Suppose A is getting the result, B is writing the exam. So from these two events, which has to happen? So getting a result. When do you get a result? Only if you write an exam, then only we get a result. Then only you will get a pass or fail, or how many marks you get, that result. So here this event should happen first. Then only this event will happen. So this is both are the conditional events. The happening of event B occurs only after the happening of event A. So this is a conditional event B given A. And the probability of conditional event is P of B given A. That means we get the result of an exam only after happening this event, that is writing of an exam. So conditional probability you will be having two types, that is P of B given A and P of A given B. So if the first A event A has to happen first after happening of event B, then we will be writing P of A given B. So this is conditional probability. So based on the conditional probability also, we are having some small theorems, that is some 2 or 3 theorems. So immediately after conditional probability we have those theorems. So go through those theorems. All these theorems will be important for the short answers. So next, after conditional probability we have the long answers we will be having, that is all the long answers are important long answers. So first read all the definitions, and go through the definitions, then you will be getting the pattern how to study. So if you read definitions and understand definitions, then only you can go through these probabilities. So after reading the definitions, first see all the small theorems whatever we have. All these just 5 to 6 lines theorems will be there, small theorems which are based on the conditions and the definitions of the probability. Next, go through the definitions of independence of events, conditional probability, send all those definitions. Then relating to those definitions only, we will be having the problems. So go through those problems. So based on the conditional probability, we will be having problems. Based on the different independence of attributes, we have the problems. So like we have a problem that a student can be solved. A problem will be given to 3 different students, that is A, B, C. So the problem is given to 3 students. What is the probability that it will be solved by any of the students, that is A or B or C? So here reading the question is important. Either of the student or any of the student or one of the student is safe. So out of these 3, anyone can solve, that is A or B or C. That is you will be finding P of A union B union C. So P of A union B union C can be written as, according to the addition theorem, we can write P of A plus P of B plus P of C plus P of A intersection B plus P of B intersection C plus P of, minus P of B intersection C minus A intersection C plus P of A intersection B intersection C. So we will go through the addition theorem in the revision class, which is very important. So this is a proof of that addition theorem. So if you observe here, we have P of A intersection B. So 3 students are there. So even in your class, if I give a problem to 3 of you, will all 3 participate equally? There will be independent chances, right? Everyone solve the problem independently according to your knowledge. So here even A, B, C 3 are important. So here what you will be getting? P of A plus P of B plus P of C minus P of A into P of B. Because what is the condition for the independence? P of A intersection B is P of A into P of B. Similarly, minus P of B into P of C minus P of A into P of C plus, here 3 are independent, that is a trio. So P of A into P of B into P of C. So if you read the definitions, you can get an idea that these are independent events. So we can write this in this form. And reading the question, we have to find whether A union B union C or A intersection B intersection C. We have to make clear about that. So if you read the question, then only you can understand these problems. So already the probabilities will be given in the question. The probability that 3 students solve the problem independently are, suppose 1 by 4, 1 by 3, 2 by 3, like this. So if the questions are given, so P of A value, P of B value, P of C values will be given in the question. So this is all about the Unit 2, all the important topics related to short answers. So in the next class, I will be discussing the most important long questions, that is addition theorem, followed by the multiplication theorem, Bayes theorem, Boole's inequality. So these 4 long answers are very, very important. So from these 4, for sure you are going to get 1 long answer. So prepare for this 4 questions. Compulsory you can attempt 1. You will be getting 20 marks for this long answers. So my coming classes, you will be getting the video lectures related to the addition, multiplication and Bayes theorem and Boole's inequality. So make sure you note down the pattern in a paper. So short answers 12 will be given, out of 12 you have to attempt any 5. 5 fourths are 20. And in long answers, linely you will be given 8 questions. So out of those 8 questions, without internal choice will be given linely. So out of those 8 questions, you have to write any 3. So 3 questions, each question carries 20 marks. So 3 into 20, 60. So section B is of 60 marks, section A is of 20 marks. 20 plus 60, 80, overall 80 marks you can cover. So plan accordingly and start your revision. So from next class, I will be sending the long answer video lectures of Unit 2.